Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Well, thank you so very much for coming today. My name is Dr. Bruce Bedrick. I'm the CEO of Medbox and Kind Clinics. It's an honor for me to be here today. Mr. David, how are you? I see some definitely friendly faces in the audience. I've kind of lost my voice already doing the morning seminar, so I apologize. There's a lot to cover today, especially the rules. I want to go through a little bit of an introduction. We'll get into what Medbox is, what Kind Clinics is, our technology. But first and foremost, we'll spend a lot of time on the rules themselves. We'll give you a demonstration of not just the Medbox technology, but of something called biotech, which is the manufacturer of BioTrack THC, the best seed to Medbox product technology in the marketplace. And ultimately, we'll talk about the business opportunity at the end. I want this to be an informal discussion, so if you guys have questions, definitely raise your hand, and we'll continue. How many people here are excited about this opportunity, right? How many people here are just interested in this workshop because they're a patient? Okay, nobody. Is everybody here interested in the business opportunity? Okay, great, excellent. Let's start off. The people will be straggling in, and that's just the way it goes. Let's talk about Kind Clinics and Medbox and how this all began. And I'll give you a little bit of an introduction on how I came to be in front of you today. And that is back in 2007, 2008, my partner, who is Vince Mezzada, I'll fast forward through, started the original version of Medbox. It was very rudimentary. He was running law firms. He's got a law background. I'm a doc. I've got a holistic medical or a holistic healthcare background, a chiropractor and naturopath. And he saw what was happening in the medical marijuana industry in California. It was completely unregulated. And it was really kind of running amok. And he realized, because he was bright and in the legal field, that if the industry and the medicine was going to be taken seriously, it had to be well regulated. And so he took it on himself to really create the first Medbox. And that was 2007, 2008. He helped put technology into multiple dispensaries. And fast forward a couple of years, I joined him in 2010 with Kind Clinics, where I licensed the Medbox technology for the state of Arizona. And so what Kind Clinics is in relation to Medbox is the licensing, an exclusive licensing and a distributing arm of Medbox technology. And we'll get into that in a moment. Myself, I'll give you a little bit of history of myself. There's Vince. Vince appeared on a lot of TV stations before I got around, and his technology made a lot of news in Southern California. And myself, I've been a doc since '96. I got into the business because, or at least into the holistic healing business, because I lost my mother to cancer when I was 10 years old. And so, thank you. I mean, you can just drop it right there. I appreciate that. How many people here has had their life affected by cancer? Again, that's more than half of this population in this room, just like this morning. Cancer is very devastating. Cancer itself, if no other condition was covered, if cannabis could help one disease, it's people with cancer. And for that reason alone and nothing else, it deserves to be available to the general public, if for no other reason. And which is what a huge motivating factor for what I do today. And I carry the burden, and I realize that I carry a very large responsibility and a large burden for the industry, for the herb, for everything it represents, for people's rights, for individuals' rights, for states' rights, to be able to choose what you want to do, certainly in your healthcare. So anyway, I lost my mom to metastatic breast cancer when I was 10. Ultimately, I decided to get into the holistic healthcare field and do alternative cancer work. I only lasted in the alternative cancer field for a couple of years. I couldn't tolerate working with people, getting very, very close to them and losing them, as well as taking money from them. It just wasn't for me. I quickly burned out on that. But I did continue to be a doc. I did continue to see chronic patients. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. And as I got through my career, I did a lot of performance work. And so my body started breaking down. You're working on professional athletes who, a lot of them are out in Arizona and during the off season, and I work on them. These guys are, 6'5" and 250, and my body started breaking down, shoulders, bad knee, and I saw the end. I couldn't continue doing the practice that I had sought out to after 15 years. And so being close to California and having the holistic kind of attitude and certainly the openness and having the experience with cancer, I kept an ear to the ground in California. And I asked the universe, I said, universe, if I'm to continue on and helping other people and doing the things that I want to do, taking care of my family, can you help bring me to somebody who knows what they're doing, who's professional, and who has a system that's reproducible? And one of my patients introduced me to Vince's technology. From that point on, I licensed the technology from Arizona. Vince and I became good friends and great business partners. We turned Medbox public in the fall of 2011, and I'm the CEO of Medbox and Kind Clinics. And ultimately, we've gone on to be tremendously successful, at least so far in this industry. I'm not sure if anybody realizes that we are a public company. Does anybody know our story? Has anybody seen us in the news? And not that my ego is not attached to it, but it's kind of a funny story because we were the fodder of late night. Our stock was basically $2 to $4 for, I don't know, a little bit over a year. And then obviously the election hit in November and the passing of adult use marijuana in Colorado and in Washington. And Wall Street Journal broke us, and our stock spiked to $215, which has really put us on the big media blitz. And like I said, we were the fodder on Jimmy Fallon and Jay Leno and Conan, and so it's been quite a ride. And our stock has performed relatively well and is now settling in the mid-20s. Kind Clinics, as I said, is a licensing and marketing arm. We are not a franchise. And we'll get into that a little bit later, but our goal is not to put our hands in your pockets when you operate. Our goal is to basically help you operate and get out of your way and consult with you and coach you. And really, that's my job. My job is essentially to put you in a place where you can succeed. We want to coach you up, we want to teach you, we want to consult with you. I told the folks in the last seminar, I'm a doc. I hate the word consultants. I can't stand consultants. I had a boatload in 15 or 20 years to help me build my practice and consult with me. None of them were worth a dime. And that's why I consider myself a coach. I don't like the word consultant. So Kind Clinics and Medbox are very unique in this particular industry. We are the only companies to offer both unique and proprietary technology and at the same time offer these coaching and consulting services. In fact, I would say we are the most successful consultants in the industry, along with the best technology. Clearly, the Medbox technology is the safest, most secure, most legally compliant way to store, inventory control, and dispense medications, whether it's medical marijuana or not, and we'll get into that too. We've had well more than 100 dispensaries utilizing our technology across North America and Canada. And one of the big feathers in our cap is that none of our clients have been harassed by any state or federal authorities, nor has there been any crime in our facilities. And clearly, going through this industry, we have amassed a tremendous amount of talent from the legal profession, real estate world, you name it. Physicians, attorneys, security people. One of the highlights are, if we use Arizona as an example, we had 110 clients in Arizona. There was roughly 96 licenses available. We were awarded 20, which represented the largest award for any law firm, individual, group, or consulting company that applied on behalf of themselves or their clients. And as I said, we've got a lot of technology that's out in the marketplace all over the continent, not just in the Medbox, but certainly in our point of sale systems as well. So Medbox is really more than just medical marijuana. While it's true we have our origins in medical marijuana, it's really about our technology and it's really about our patents and what we're really doing to expand and interface with the rest of the world in terms of prescription pharmaceuticals. And I'll tell you what our patent is. It's very unique and pretty broad and pretty strong. And that is, if you're going to automate the dispensing of prescription pharmaceuticals, you need to marry it with a tracking database, because you cannot put prescription pharmaceuticals such as antibiotics in a gumball machine, put in 25 cents, and expect to get anything out. You need to track that. So we have the automated dispense with a tracking database with some more security, like such as biometrics in between, and it's very strong. And we have numerous products, not just for medical marijuana, but for every place in the traditional pharmaceutical and healthcare marketplace. CVS and Walgreens and retail pharmacies, doctors' offices, hospices, large employers, government, prisons. Our goal at Medbox is to really change the world, the way that every person in this room interacts and acquires their prescription pharmaceuticals, or in this case, herbs. So hopefully you'll be seeing us more and more in society, and we become kind of part of the lexicon. We have some really exciting products coming out, but that's not the point of this discussion. So that's why there's tremendous amount of business interest, not just in medical marijuana. Clearly, we've created a niche for ourselves, which brings up a good story. Let's see. A lot of people don't like me in the industry, and here's why. There is a lot of purists or elitists who believe that that pot should be free-flowing for all to enjoy right now. And because I have a more regulated nature to it, they don't like what I represent because it's restrictive. Well, let me tell you something, folks. I too, like the pot elitist and the pot purist, want the medicine and the herb to be free-flowing. However, we're in a world where you can't go from completely illegal to 100 miles an hour overnight. It has to be digested into society a little bit at a time. So one of the first ways to get it digested one bite at a time into society is becoming a very well-regulated industry. And so thus, we created this, and my Vince and I were kidding. We're like, either somebody's going to come around and take us out, or we're going to wind up, running the industry. And it looks like the latter is coming true, because we have to crawl before we walk, and we have to walk before we run. And in 20 or 30 years, we're going to look back on this like pot was like medicinal, and that's the way ultimately, but we have to get there one step at a time. And I think what we thought and what we envisioned and the original concept by which the Medbox was founded was the validation of the medicine and the validation of security and oversight. And in order for it to be taken seriously, it has to be well regulated. And so this is where we are. And Massachusetts, you guys are pioneers. Everybody in this room is going to be on the beginning, whether you become a client of mine or not. Massachusetts, and we'll get it into the rules in a moment, has really created some amazing rules, because they really took into account everybody's, a perspective from patients, a perspective from dispensary operators, a perspective from law enforcement, and from government and legislators. And we'll get into that in a minute.